Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with all the resources you need to become a successful author. You can learn more about Authors Unite and join the free community at authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today, I have Georgina Playsted with us. She specializes in workplace wellness and is passionate about creating a culture of health in the workplace. She uses the G5 machine in all of her treatments. This is an American manufactured machine, and it is what makes her mobile and home-based business so unique. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you for having me.
Of course, grateful to have you here. I'm excited to dive in, and we'll jump into the first one. The first question I have for you, Georgina, is what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
Well, about 5 years ago, my sister and I went to the taping of the Australian version of Deal or No Deal. You have that in America, don't you?
Yes.
Yes. I'd already been to one of the tapings a couple of years before, so I sort of knew what type of contestant they were looking for. So I said to my sister, right, let's have a plan. Let's get dressed up. Let's have a story so that we stand out and that we get chosen. So my plan was that we'd get the train down, we'd get dressed up as French resistant fighters. We had berets and cravats on. My mum is born on Bastille Day, which is France's Independence Day national holiday. So we went down with the story that we wanted to take my mother to Bastille Day for her birthday to see the celebrations over the Eiffel Tower. They have the fireworks every year, and I'd been to that on my Kentucky tour about sort of 20 years earlier, so I knew how fabulous it was. So anyway, we turned up, we got dressed up in our outfits, and the producers came over straight away and sort of said, thank you so much for dressing up. And I said to my sister, right, we're in. So anyway, my plan was to get in, get picked first, win some cash, and then be on the 10 o'clock train home back to Ballarat. And that's exactly what happened. We got chosen. I was the contestant, and we won $10,000, and we were back on the train by 10 o'clock. So it was a fantastic day and very, very enjoyable. Had so much fun. And my poor sister had never seen the program before, so she was up on the podium and just had no idea what she was doing. It was hilarious. But she's the one who got the mega guess at the end and won the $10,000, which was really fabulous. So the underlying message for me is that if you've got a clear goal and your eye on the prize, you can achieve anything.
Yeah, that is an awesome story. Thanks for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
The next one I have for you is what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
Well, I've had a really good think about this question, and I think the most important thing is that in every single thing that you do, in every action every day, is that you need to learn to remind your brain to remember to draw your core, which is your lower abdominal muscles. And then what this does, it evolves those muscles to become stronger. So when you do anything, you start to learn to use those muscles instead of your back muscles, because if you have weak core muscles, you use your back muscles and you will end up on my table consistently or a chiropractor's. So it's a really good way of strengthening the whole system. So you just bring your core muscles in, and then when you're bending, driving and all the rest of it, and it's sort of a practice that it's like getting up and have a shower every morning. You just have to remember to do it.
Yes, thanks for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
The next one that I have for you is what is your best piece of overall business advice, so not necessarily industry specific?
I've been asked this question a lot, and I always have the same answer, and it is my mission statement. So when I did my business course and we had to do a mission statement, basically that your health is your wealth and that no success can be enjoyed if you're not well enough to enjoy it. So take care of yourself and give yourself oxygen first. Always remember I used to be a flight attendant, so my advice is, and it's a very relatable piece of advice to me, is that you always give yourself oxygen first so that you can then take care of others.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Do not ever smoke. Because that was probably my one and only regret that I did when I was younger. And also that it's okay to be different.
Mm. And kind of going a little bit down a different path, but in your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
Well, I always say look forward to plan, look back to learn, and look now to be happy. It's very important that you always remain present and that you focus on whatever you're doing in the present moment. And if you stay in the present moment and enjoy the moment, then I think that just naturally draws happiness because you don't stress about the future and then you don't worry about the past.
And what is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
If you had have asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have probably said Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. That's always been my favourite book, but I'm in the middle of a really great book called Musashi's Dokudo, which is basically translate to The Way of Walking Alone. So it's ancient samurai wisdom that's been translated and applicable to the modern reader. So it's just full of lots of wisdom. So basically it's teaching you how to walk alone and be okay but not feel lonely.
Mm. And what is your favorite quote and why?
That basically my whole thing is about evolution, and that's why I called my business Evolve, workplace massage therapy. It's basically Darwin's theories that it's not the survival of the fittest or the strongest or the most intelligent that survives. It is the people who are most adaptable to change.
And I could not agree more.
Yes.
And thank you again so much for coming on. The last question that I have for you before we let you go today is, where is the best place for people to find and connect with you online?
Probably on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Thanks again for hopping on. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you're most welcome, Tyler. Thank you so much for having me.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.